If you had the chance to communicate one general idea to the American public, what would it be?
I guess it would be understanding and communication between the different age brackets, which is no such thing about age brackets anyway, not in my mind. Because a person is not actually old in numbers of years, but how many miles he's traveled, you know, how he keeps his mind active and creative. And I guess that would be one general idea. There's millions of them. Can go.
Okay. Number two, when you're before a large audience and start to play, how do you feel inside? What sensations do you feel, if any?
Well, I really feel like turning people on, you know, quite naturally, on some kind of, at least entertainment, without being false about it, you know, without being a superficial clown or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And like if they don't respond, well then I'll just play for myself, you know, and for the ones that will listen, if they do respond, well then it just gives me more energy to work out, you know. It's another way of communication and trying to make harmony amongst the people enjoying what we're trying to get across, you know. Harmony is part of the first one too, anyway.
Okay. If you were not getting the desired response from an audience when you're on stage, what do? What would be your reaction to such a situation if this ever happened? Now, I've never seen it happen to you, so there's been times when you felt you weren't getting the desired response.
Yeah. Well, I have an imagination, you know, and I feel that maybe they might not be ready for that particular thing. They might be coming to the concert as critics, you know, instead of as people, you know, wanting to get into some entertainment, and then from then on they can build it more. But if there's no response at all, it doesn't bother me too much at all. It just makes me play a little more music, you know. So, you know, that's just the way I think. I think in no negative terms at all, because it takes a whole lot of space in your mind, you know. And some people only use 1/10 of the brain capacity anyway. And so, you know, there's so much more room to think other good ways, you know, and try to turn them on regardless. It's just like a hospital. When a patient might be kicking, you know, he doesn't want an operation, and he knows good and well, you know, might be good for him on the long run. But he's scared, and he's kicking around in the bed, and the nurses are trying to strap him down. Well, I'm the nurses, you know, trying to get him together and trying to prove to him that this is right.
What is your own personal philosophy of music? What effect do you want it to have on you?
Well, let's see. Personal philosophy. Well, my personal one is that's part of my life. You know, it's just a part of me, music itself. And the effect I like to have for it on the audience is maybe in a hypnotic state, if not an awakening state, you know. So therefore, that's why we don't preach necessarily violence unless it's a certain incidence in a song. It should have some kind of solution, you know, at the end of a song, every song that we give out to people, you know. Because it's almost all philosophy. Our music is, most of it is, in a very hazy form, because it's still progressing, you know. It's just like a little baby. And it hasn't even reached the stage that I call for it to walk by itself, you know.
What is the best possible or desirable situation to bring this response about? These are very leading questions, I must tell you.
Well, sometimes when there's a lot of riots and so forth, that's still going to happen in the States, you know, and anywhere else for that matter. So therefore, in the hottest parts of the country, they should allow these groups to play in an outdoor way. You know, I know that sounds suicidal, but it's not at all. Matter of fact, it's the best way to do anything. Is to bring only special groups, or certain groups, because there's a lot of groups that are trying to, like I said before, keep harmony amongst people. So they either give them good time music or loud music so they can release their frustrations and so forth, standing right next, you know, like black and white standing next to each other with hammers, getting ready to hit each other. And this music has a way, it's a universal language anyway. And if it was respected properly, it would have a way to reach these people at the same time. And like, it's a thing, like, I think it should be brought outside, almost like the evangelist, you know, a gathering like that. The other music should stay in clubs, and, you know, all the pretentious people in the music, you know, they should just stay in their pretentious bag, like for instance in clubs and cabarets and all that. You see, there's a lot of elderly people want to know about what's happening in new music today, too. They want to know why people play so loud, and they want to know this and want to know that. What's the best thing for them to do is come and hear certain groups. There's only certain groups that are trying to get across a harmony message anyway. And we're one of them.
Now, what social implications do you feel that rock music has brought to your generation?
I think probably it was good time music at first, like I said before, like with Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Jerry Lee Lewis, and you can go on down the line, Elvis Presley and so forth. But then there's a lot of drugs that's dipped into it from some of the fact that rock musicians think different than other people, they live different than other people, so therefore they have different releases than other people. It's up to them themselves not to look to escape, and some of this is seeped in through there. And I think some of the people that were on drugs, some of the regular people, or like I say, some of the music seeped in, some of the the drug scene seeped in through the music, and so therefore they felt it was a little better to do these things, like going into LSD or what have you, And so, but like it's settling down properly, and the whole idea in the first place for all these drugs and all the music and all the hang-ups is because like everybody wants to be their own identification in some way, form, And some people couldn't find this, so I'm trying to talk to the parents or the so-called other generation, because they have a way of overprotecting the people so much as where they put them in boxes, and they put themselves in boxes, and that's not the right way of living. Because younger people, their minds are a little more keener, and they can figure this out. So therefore, since they can't get release and respect from the older people, then they go into these other things, and the music gets louder and it gets rebellious because it's starting to form a religion, And because you're not going to find it in church. A lot of kids, don't find nothing in church. I remember when I got thrown out of church because I had the improper clothes on. I had tennis shoes and a suit. And they said, well, that's not proper. So we don't have no money to get anything else. So I just got thrown out of church anyway. And it's nothing but an institution. So they have to find nothing there. And so then it moves on to trying to find yourself, So therefore you see somebody look maybe kind of freaky or playing very radical, regardless if it's good or bad, And then quite naturally, they take up to this person or these people. It's up to the people to preach the proper thing to them through the music.
What